Hello everyone, Cool Dude Cobramai here, back again with another episode of Choose Your Character, the reoccurring series where I take a look at characters you suggest and create movesets for them in Smash Brothers. This is the 10th episode of the season, and it is also the season finale of the first season. So I just want to thank you guys for supporting the series this far, and we have a pretty popular character today, with it being the protagonist from the popular game Minecraft, Steve. Now, Steve is an interesting character, as many people thought he would be in the DLC of Smash Ultimate before Banjo-Kazooie was announced. However, that ended up being untrue, and we ended up getting Banjo instead. I personally felt I would rather have Steve personally, but I can understand that a lot of people wanted Banjo-Kazooie, and I can definitely understand why. So yeah, let's go ahead and get into today's episode with Minecraft Steve. As usual, we're going to start off with how he would look in Smash Brothers. In Minecraft, there are multiple different skins of characters, or just unique characters in general, that you can play as. However, as suspected, I believe that the original classic Steve design would most likely be his main appearance. This costume would have palettes based off of the characters of the villager mob, zombies, and then he would also have an alternate costume where he is wearing diamond armor. And then he has 4 other costumes where his skin itself changes to look like the other player character, Alex. And she would also have alternate costumes based off of the color scheme of a creeper, a spider, and she would also have a alternate costume where she is wearing iron armor. Steve and Alex are both going to be holding diamond swords, and they both stand exactly how they do in the Minecraft games. And their series icon will be the creeper face from Minecraft. So yeah. Next up we have their victory screens, and I tried to get a bit creative with these ones to show the creativity itself of Minecraft. So for one of them, we have Steve building a sign that reads victory on it before he runs around in circles around the sign. This one's pretty simple, I think. It's interesting enough. For the second one, we see Steve walk up to a furnace, and we see him take out a pork chop and begin to eat it. And finally, for his last victory screen, we have Steve beginning to build a house after he swings his sword around a few times. I couldn't really think of any victory animations that had direct references, so I hope that these ones will suffice. So yeah. Let's get into his moveset itself. Starting things off with his jab as usual, he would have a 3-hit jab, which would consist of him slashing at the opponent quickly with his diamond sword, with him following up with a slash with the back end of his sword, and then the third and final hit would just be a quick slash downwards at the opponent. His dash attack would see Steve run up towards the opponent and hop and swing his sword, causing dust to fly off when he hits them. This is to reference the fact that in Minecraft, if you are dashing and jump up and hit the opponent, that you will perform a critical hit and deal extra damage. So I think that's a nice way of implementing that. And then moving on to his tilt attacks. For his forward tilt, we see Steve perform an overhead swing with his axe. He raises it above his head before swinging it downward. This would hit the opponent pretty hard. It would have a lot of startup, but if it hits, it would deal a lot of damage and launch the opponent a pretty decent distance. This is probably the tilt that has the most knockback out of all of his, and I could see it being a decent kill move. However, it would be very unsafe to use, so be sure you have a plan to do so. I think it's really cool. I tried to implement multiple Minecraft tools into his moveset, so let's just see how that turns out as we progress further into this. Next up we have his up tilt, and for this attack we just see Steve poke his fishing pole in the air upwards. This would just kind of be a quick poke upward. It wouldn't do that much damage, but it would have somewhat decent knockback. Nothing kill worthy, mind you, but it would also have the best range out of all of his aerials, so it's pretty decent for an anti-air attack. And then finally, for his down tilt, we see Steve swing his sword at the opponent's feet in a sweeping motion. This could cause them to trip sometimes. It's just basically a quick sword slash downward, not much else to it. Quickest out of all of his tilt attacks, but it also does the least damage and has the least knockback. And now as we get into the big guns, we have his smash attacks. Starting things off with his forward smash. For this attack, we would see Steve take out his shovel, and as soon as you let go of the smash attack button, he would swing it into the ground, launching any opponent he hits. This is more of a smash motion rather than a slashing one, so I think it's pretty neat. Yeah, not much to it. It kind of has a similar animation to Banjo and Kazooie's forward smash and Ganondorf's forward smash, except with a shovel. For his up smash, we have Steve swing his axe in an upward arc, hitting either side of him. This would hit to the left and to the right of him, so you could use it if an opponent might roll behind you or something. It launches the opponent a decent way upwards, so it's pretty good overall, although it comes out pretty slow. And then finally, for his down smash, for this attack, we see Steve take out a bit of flint and steel, which is another tool in Minecraft, and he hits them together, which ignites a fire on the ground, which spreads to either side of him, causing fire damage and knockback to any opponent hit by the bursts of flame. Now that we have all of his ground moves covered, let's get into his aerials. And for the, sorry about that, we're going to get into his neutral air first, and for this attack, we see Steve swing his pickaxe from side to side in the air. It's kind of just thinking right now, I think the best move to compare this to would probably be Toon Link's neutral air, where he swings his sword to the left of him, then follows up by swinging it to the right of him. It's a decent coverage move overall. It comes out pretty quick, but doesn't deal that much damage or knockback. Next up, we have his forward air, and for this attack, we see Steve throw a snowball forward. This is a projectile aerial. It does decent damage and stuns the enemy, but it does not have very much knockback at all. The only way you could potentially kill an opponent with it if they were pretty close to the ledge already. So yeah. With his back air, we see Steve turn around and he throws lava out of a bucket, which causes foes to take fire damage and be launched backwards. This is the most damaging and highest knockback out of all of his aerial attacks. However, because of this, it's also the most risky. So yeah, it's pretty cool. I wanted to put the lava somewhere in his moveset because I think that would be pretty interesting. But yeah, that's how I implemented it. I think it could fit pretty well. Now for his up air, this attack would just see Steve mining upward as he swings his pickaxe up in the air 3 times. The animation in this, a direct comparison would be in Minecraft. If you look up and just hold down the mine button, you swing your pickaxe really quickly upward in the air. That would be all this move is, except it would hurt the opponent. And then finally, with his down air, this attack would see Steve pull an anvil out of his pocket or something, and it would just cause him to drop to the ground instantly. It does not spike like most aerials of this nature. However, because of this, it has insanely high knockback. But be warned, as if you use this off stage, you are guaranteed to die. And with that, we're getting into his grab-based moves. And starting things off with his grab itself, Steve actually has a tether grab. What he does for his grab animation is when you press the trigger button, or whatever button you have mapped to grab, he throws out a rope. And obviously, if the rope touches the ledge, he will grab onto the ledge and hang on for dear life. But on top of that, just like any other grab, if you hit the opponent with the rope, you will enter the grab status. If you want to pummel the enemy, you can press any attack button, and Steve will hit the opponent with the hilt of his sword, dealing about 2% damage. Now, getting into the throws themselves, starting things off with his forward throw. Steve would slash at the enemy with an axe, which would cause them to be launched forward. This throw has pretty decent knockback. It's not the most. It doesn't launch the enemy the furthest out of all of his throws, but it's pretty good overall. So yeah, his back throw. This is the one that would function as his kill throw. The animation for it sees Steve swing the rope behind him, and he just lets go of it, which causes the enemy to be hurled behind him. I think this would be a really funny animation. It's just throwing him. I don't know, I just find the idea of that pretty funny. For his up throw, Steve would set a piston item down, and then he would activate it, which would cause the enemy to be pushed upward into the air. Then obviously you can jump up and follow up. And then finally, for his down throw, we have Steve he knocks the opponent down, and then he throws a splash potion of damage at the opponent, causing them to take decent damage. However, this does not bounce them back up, so once you use it, they can just act freely again, if that makes sense. So yeah, I think that those would all be pretty interesting grabs. I tried to incorporate many different items from Minecraft in his grabs, and I think I did a pretty good job of doing so, but if you have another idea, let me know in the comments section below. And next we have the big guns of his moveset, the thing that a lot of people were asking me about, his special moves. As I do a lot of times on this series, I'm probably going to be covering these special moves out of order, and because his down special and his neutral special directly correlate with one another, so I'll probably cover those two first. So yeah, starting things off with his neutral special, this one is simply called Place Block. It's a pretty self-explanatory name, but what it does is Steve has 4 different types of blocks in his inventory, which is displayed by his health bar, and you can essentially, what you can do is, when you press the neutral special, you place a block directly in front of you. The blocks can be broken by either you or the opponent, but if Steve breaks these blocks himself, he can pick them back up, meaning that he doesn't lose one for the match. He gets 5 of each of these 4 blocks per match. I mean, not per match, but per stock. So the blocks go as follows. There is a dirt block, which does nothing special. You can use it to build a wall or a platform if you want to stand in the air. You can use, there's a TNT block, which we'll get into in a bit. There's wood planks, which we will also get into in a bit. And then finally there are the cactus blocks, which act as traps. Once you set them, if the enemy or you touch them, you will take about 5% damage, but no knockback. So yeah, Steve basically can just build stuff as his neutral special. You can stack blocks on top of other blocks to build elaborate setups, but if not, you can just use them to build a platform to stand on and help you recover. It's a pretty versatile move, and I don't think there's anything else in Smash quite like it at the moment. So yeah, I think that that's pretty useful. And as I said, his neutral special and down special directly correlate with one another. And what his down special do, it is just called Change Block. And what it does is once you input it, Steve will switch whatever block he is holding in his hands for the next one in the cycle. The order of the blocks goes as follows. You start the match off with a dirt block. If you press it, you go to wood block, then to cactus, then to TNT, and then after that you go back to dirt and restart the cycle all over again. So yeah, there's not much else to it. It's I mean, if you're going to compare it to a pre-existing move in Smash, I guess it would Olimar's Pikmin Call, his down special. That would probably be the easiest comparison to make, as both of them just reorganize what resources you use in that moveset. So yeah, I think that's a pretty fair comparison. So yeah, now that we're done with those two, let's get into his side special, and I can talk about how that correlates to the TNT and wood blocks. So his side special is the Flint and Steel. And what it does is once you input it, Steve bangs the flint and steel together and creates a small fireball that is launched directly in front of him. If this fireball hits an opponent, it sets them on fire, which causes them to take damage over time as the fire effect remains on them for a little while. But that's not the main that's not the main effect of the move. What it does is if this little fire spark hits a TNT block, the TNT block will explode, causing massive damage to the opponent. That being said, the TNT block, when it explodes, it takes a while before it explodes, so the opponent has to, you have to know where the opponent will be once the TNT block explodes. And then, if you hit a wood block with the flint and steel fireball, it will ignite on fire, lighting it and all other wood blocks around it ablaze. And this is a trapping move, because what it does is if the opponent makes contact with the fire, they take a lot of damage, and the longer they are in the fire, the more damage they take. So yeah, it's you can use it as a normal projectile or help you set up your block traps. So I think it's another pretty versatile move in his toolset. I know I use that word a lot, but I think it really fits with the type of character that not the type of character, but the type of moveset I've built for him. And then finishing things off with his up special. Simply put, this one would just be his Elytra wings from Minecraft. In Minecraft itself, these wings are used to glide, but in Smash, I kind of reworked them, so I think they would function more similar to something like Pit's up special, where he just shoots directly upward. However, if we wanted to incorporate the gliding aspect of it, we could make it something similar to Meta Knight's Brawl up special, where once you use the recovery move, instead of going into freefall, you enter some sort of gliding status where you can control your descent a lot more freely. But other than that, that wraps up his special moves, and we're going to get into what his final smash would be. I had a couple interesting ideas for this, but the one that I finally settled on was kind of interesting. So what it is once you get the Smash Ball, Steve, and you activate the final smash, Steve would put together, he would have an Ender portal, and he would put in an Eye of Ender, which causes the portal itself to open. And any nearby opponents get sucked up into this thing. And if there are any opponents who do get sucked up into it, a cutscene plays in which the Ender Dragon shows up, and he just attacks all the fighters who were brought through the portal. And yeah, then he just blasts them back through the portal, causing them to get launched. I thought it was an interesting way of incorporating what's arguably one of the most famous monsters from the series. Game, I guess. But yeah, I think that works pretty well. And then one of my favorite parts about Minecraft is the world itself. So I think when we're talking about what a stage could be for Minecraft, I think that the best option for a stage would be the entire overworld. It could be a traveling stage, and it could be something like Mario Maker, where the terrain is randomly generated each time you play the game. Just like how at the start of every new world in Minecraft, all the terrain is created randomly. I think that could be a very beautiful stage. And even if it wasn't a traveling stage, just make it like a big area in Minecraft and have what biome it's in be random, the environment be random, what blocks are where. I don't know. I just think that'd make for a pretty awesome stage. And then finally, the last thing to discuss is what music he could bring to Smash. As much as I think that Steve could do a lot of interesting stuff in Smash, I don't know a whole lot of Minecraft music that could really work. If they could make a remix of the main theme from Minecraft, which I'll play here in a sec, I think that could probably function as his main remix in Smash. But other than that, if you think that there are any other songs that could work, be sure to let me know in the comments below. Let me just play the main theme from Minecraft here. Alright, so yeah, that wraps up Season 1. I'm still planning on what I'm going to do after this episode. I know that I have a Season 1 finale planned where I will be just going over all of the characters we've discussed so far and giving my thoughts and personal opinions on each of them, and then we'll probably just put them in. I'm going to rank them for how likely they are to join Smash, and I might do something like a tier list of ranking them on how likely they are. I think that could be interesting. But then after that, I think I might take a break from this series for about a month or so. Don't worry, it's not ending anytime soon. I still have tons of characters I want to cover with you guys, and on top of that, you guys keep requesting more, which I couldn't be more happy about. This series has given my channel more growth than anything else I've made in the past, and I couldn't be more happy. So thank you guys. It's actually quite magical. I love being able to log on and see that there's almost 50 people who follow me on here. It's breathtaking. Thank you all for being with me for this journey. Yeah, sorry for getting a bit emotional there. It's just you guys make me happy, so thank you for sticking around. Well, with that being said, this has been episode 10 of Choose Your Character. You now know what Minecraft Steve could function like in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. I think he could get in. I think he has a pretty good shot. That being said, I don't know if we'll get another Microsoft character. What do you guys think? Be sure to let me know in the comments below. And if you have another character, be sure to leave it down in the comments section below, and I'll be sure to make it in a future video. I'm at the point still where if you request a character, I'm definitely going to be able to cover it, as not that many people are doing so now's the chance. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all next time. Bye-bye!